So obviously tomorrow is the Detroit Pistons and the NBA lottery, May 17th, which will be at 7 o'clock on the ESPN. It feels a little different this year. I'm going to kind of toss it to you guys and really get your thoughts. I look at it as not as important, not as big of a deal to get number one than I feel like it was last year. But what I really want to know for you guys is, like, where is that drop-off? And if I am wrong and you want to get that number one pick, obviously you want the number one pick, so you get your choice, right? That's a stupid thing to say that we don't want the number one pick. But where's that drop-off in that line of, okay, if we don't get a top 6 pick, or if we fall into 6, like, where's that line of, like, we are going to miss out on our guy because we fell in this lottery? That's what I want to know, so I can sit and watch this and be like, all right, yeah, we fell to 4, but we're still going to get X, Y, and Z, or still have a chance at a certain player that will make this team better. So I have the lottery odds here. I'll go through that, and then I'll kind of toss it off to you. Does that work?
Go for it.
So the odds for the top 3 picks are the same for the top 3 or 4 picks odds, basically. So for the number 1 pick, 14% chance. Number 2 pick, 13.4. Number 3 pick, 12.7. Number 4 pick, 12% chance. And then it's a huge, basically, for the Pistons, you can go anywhere between 1 and 7. So to kind of round out 5, 6, and 7, pick 5 is 14.8% chance. Pick 6, 26% chance, which obviously has the highest number, so that's where I'm looking. But then a 7% chance of falling to the number 7 overall pick. It's a similar situation. Obviously, we had the best odds last year, right? So if everything falls the way it should, like, we should be the 3rd pick. But I guess where are you guys looking here? What are the names that you're most interested in not missing out on, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to split the draft up into 2 tiers in my mind. It's not the same tier as far as, like, level of play or ability in any way, but I think you have to look at the big players, and then you have to look at the guards and wings types. So the bigs and really the consensus top 3 in this draft are Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith, and Paolo Banchero. And so those are the big guys. Each one is 6'10". Jabari Smith, I've seen more of 6'11", and he's a shooting guy. And then Chet Holmgren is 7-footer, and he's skinny as a rail. So what's hard about this draft is it's not just like, if you miss on one guy, the next guy fills that same need, because I feel like the talent is so unique for each one of these 3 types of players at the top. And there is not a consensus, because each one could fill the need that each team's looking for. And Chet Holmgren specifically is just such a rare, unique combination and body type that we've never really seen work in the NBA, that it just makes it such a hard prediction. It makes it a hard projection into the NBA from high school and college, and it's just a rare situation in my mind. And then after those guys, it's all guards. So if you do miss out on the top 3, 4, then good luck. Your strategy of maybe building with a big guy to pair with Cade Cunningham is just it's out the window. It's not going to be there.
John, is there, like, who are you looking at here?
Well, I definitely don't want to see him fall out of the top 4. I think
that's your number.
I think you want a top 4 draft pick. I think you want to reach at 4. If it's a Jaden Ivey, I'd take him. It would be nice to get a guy with size. I'd like to see him go, honestly, with Paolo. I think he's the best fit for the NBA at this point. Chet Holmgren's 8 inches taller than me, and I got a couple pounds on the guy, and that's scary.
Yeah,
that is scary. I'm a skinny dude. I break down. I get hurt. And I just don't want to see him waste a pick on a guy like him. But I don't know, Keegan Murray, like, if you do slip and you land a guy like that too, I mean, he's got all the tools to play in the NBA. But I guess I'm kind of looking at that tier 2 that you got here on the list, picks 3 and 4, Paolo and Jaden Ivey, if possible.
I think Jabari Smith, and this is also, I think the other part of this is where, depending on where they fall in the draft, it really could impact the way that we build this team long term. Because if you can get a guy like Jabari Smith, let's just say that, he could be a direct replacement for Jeremy Grant, because that's the type of athlete that Detroit doesn't want to give up with Jeremy Grant. He is Jeremy Grant's a freak of an athlete. He's 6'8", 6'9", super long wingspan. He can jump, he can guard, he can move laterally. He can shoot here and there. Like his shot selection, everybody knows his shot selection is not very good. It needs to get better, and it does for stretches, but not over the course of a season. But Jabari Smith really could be a direct replacement, and maybe even just an immediate upgrade, or maybe year 2 upgrade to,
Is that how you would handle this draft? Is finding the replacement for the Jeremy Grant?
Well,
rather than going big man that everybody expects, right? Everybody's expecting, you need a center that can do X, Y, and Z, because that's what Pistons, that's what it looks like. They need that extra length, right?
Well, and
but is it more or less like finding a way to replace him?
Well, and that's the question, because and I don't know if I have a really good answer, because if you don't get Jabari Smith, are you going to replace Jeremy Grant with Chet Holmgren? No, that's like it's not a direct comparison,
yeah,
right? And then that's going to mess up or at least change our dynamic between our power forward and center combinations that we have right now on the team. Paolo Banchero is more of a Blake Griffin type of player, where he might be a really good athlete, but he doesn't. And we're talking like Pistons Blake Griffin, not jump out of the gym Blake Griffin,
yeah.
but a ball handler who might slow the game down a bit, but will try to dissect a defense, when he has the ball, by making the right decision or power through somebody and score and get an and one or whatever. And he has shooting ability too. But I guess what the Pistons, I think the dilemma they're in is if they go with Chet Holmgren, Paolo Banchero, and maybe Keegan Murray, they might actually become slower in the end.
Okay.
With their team speed, because Cade Cunningham is a really good athlete, but he's a slower, really good athlete.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean by that. He plays in control. He's not a Jaden Ivey, just like speed demon, right?
Do we need that? Do we need someone that can?
I don't know.
That?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at a guard and the Pistons think they need to build through that, like get somebody smaller or even a wing like Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
They're all in tier 2, so it's not like we're losing out on this talent, but I think the ability of getting a Paolo, Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, and deciding between those 3 guys versus the guards really will tell the story on where the Pistons are trying to push this rebuild.
Now, remind me there was a report towards the end of the year that a specific team was like, hey, if we fall in this draft spot, we could use that to trade for Jeremy Grant. Do you guys remember who that was and where they land in this lottery thing?
Yeah,
I feel like it was the Blazers, right?
Portland, yeah.
Yeah.
So their odds to get the first overall pick is 9.2, 9.4, 9.6. Then you got 8.6. So they're probably going to land in a top 8 pick based on the odds. They have a 3.7% chance, 9.1% chance at 10. So with a top 8 pick, like, do you think that's still a possibility where the Pistons could walk away with 2 top 8 picks? And then what do we do? And I know that's time will tell, but I'm interested. Does that change what you do with your first pick because you have 8?
Yeah, or? I think if you get 2 top 8 picks, you got to go Jaden Ivey, and I think you got to go Jalen Duren from Memphis. He's a guy that I think he's got the opportunity to score. He's got to work on.
He's the center, a little undersized center, right?
Yeah, he's got to work. He's got to work. He's
but-
got to work on his jump shot. But the guy gets up and down the court with ease. Yeah.
Yeah, but even a guy like Shaden Sharp. Like Shaden Sharp is really the question mark in the whole draft. Like he really could have been the early favorite for next year's number 1 overall pick.
Okay.
And he's 6'6", 200 pounds. He looks like an NBA player already. He's got this kind of like fadeaway type of game already, like pretty polished looking scoring machine.
Yeah.
And so is that a guy that you want to invest in too with Cade Cunningham? And now you have a big front court or back court, I guess, where Cade Cunningham 6'7", Shaden Sharp 6'6", 6'7", combination as your guards moving forward, and then your forwards are Jeremy Grant and Sadiq Bey, pretty big, like formidable group that can all switch and change out. And then Isaiah Stewart as a center, like you could literally switch between your center and your point guard and not really see any difference in defensive ability.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's where the question mark comes in. If they do end up getting they trade Jeremy Grant and they get a top 8 pick, that can also change things because you would target a big early and then you can get your the rest of them. I think I just swallowed like a bug. That was weird.
Is there a guy that you're like no go? That just like you hope that we don't land the number 1 pick and take him because it's not who you want, John?
Chet Holmgren all day.
You don't want him?
I don't. I don't, man. And like it showed in the tournament. Like, yeah, he's freakish in size and he is kind of quick for his length. And he blocks a lot of shots when they were playing teams, seeded 16 and 8 and 9.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared. He literally disappeared, didn't score, and I don't think he's going to translate to the NBA. You got guys like Giannis. You got guys like Nikola Jokic, and then you got Chet Holmgren. Those are 2 different beasts.
Yeah.
And I don't think Chet can compete with guys like that.
I just don't.
Embiid, these guys in the East, Embiid.
Yeah, I think you put him in a playoff scenario, and you could pick a power forward. Like almost any team would have a power forward or small forward that could push him around. So I don't. He's such a unique guy, though. Like I don't think you all automatically pass on that talent because he has a rare ability to move around the court, handle the ball like a guard, play defense and shot block. I mean, he has great shot blocking instincts.
Yeah, he was like a point guard in high school too.
Yeah,
at like 6'8", 6'9", and all his AAU clips too. You watch. I mean, he is a bona fide player, but
I don't know if the NBA knows how to play with him though.
And I think when you look back on like big guys coming out of college like that, none of them have been able to just dominate the NBA. I still think we're seeing guys from overseas with size.
Yeah.
That are just better, well-rounded players with all the tools needed to score, defend, and stay in the game.
I didn't notice that there's not any overseas guys in the top 10, at least in this thing. So that's a little different.
Oh, they always kind of make their names
after like
late.
After the combine and stuff.
Yeah.
There's only a couple though that I've seen that are in like the lottery conversation.
Oh, it'll be fun. If the Pistons can go back to back on lottery, that wouldn't hate anything like that.